So we are reading through chapter 16 in the book of John. And at verse 1 it says, "These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth God's service. And these things will they do unto you, because they have not known the Father nor me. But these things have I told you, that when the time shall come, ye may remember that I told you of them. And these things I said not unto you at the beginning, because I was with you. But now I go my way to him that sent me. And none of you asketh me, Whither goest thou? But because I have said these things unto you, sorrow hath filled your heart. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is expedient for you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin, and of righteousness, and of judgment. Of sin, because they believe not on me. Of righteousness, because I go to my Father, and ye see me no more. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. He shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine, and shall show it unto you. All things that the Father hath are mine. Therefore said I that he shall take of mine, and shall show it unto you. A little while, and ye shall not see me, and again a little while, and ye shall see me, because I go to the Father. Then said some of his disciples among themselves, What is this that he saith unto us? A little while, and ye shall not see me, and again a little while, and ye shall see me, and because I go to the Father. They said therefore, What is this that he saith, a little while? We cannot tell what he saith. Now Jesus knew that they were desirous to ask him, and said unto them, Do ye inquire among yourselves of that I said, a little while, and ye shall not see me, and again a little while, and ye shall see me? Verily, verily, I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament, but the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful, but your sorrow shall be turned into joy. A woman, when she is in travail, hath sorrow, because her hour is come. But as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. And ye now therefore have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you. And in that day ye shall ask me nothing. Verily, verily, I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall ask the Father in my name, he will give it you. Hitherto have ye asked nothing in my name. Ask, and ye shall receive, that your joy may be full. These things have I spoken unto you in Proverbs, but the time cometh, when I shall no more speak unto you in Proverbs, but I shall show you plainly of the Father. At that day ye shall ask in my name, and I say not unto you that I will pray the Father for you. For the Father himself loveth you, because ye have loved me, and have believed that I came out from God. I came forth from the Father, and am come into the world. Again I leave the world, and go to the Father. His disciples said unto him, Lo, now speakest thou plainly, and speakest no proverb. Now are we sure that thou knowest all things, and needest not that any man should ask thee. By this we believe that thou camest forth from God. Jesus answered them, Do ye now believe? Behold, the hour cometh, yea, is now come, that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone. And yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So now I'm going to go through a few things that stood out to me. The first being in verse 1, where Jesus is saying, These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. And um, it seems like it's a continuation of what he was disclosing to them in the previous chapter, where he was saying that they will be persecuted and hated for his namesake, um, because they don't know who him who sent Jesus. They don't know God. And um, he's saying, the servant is not greater than his Lord. And some versions say the servant is not greater than the master. And he's also like going further, saying that, you know, you shall be put out of synagogues, and whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth God's service. And it says, these things they will do unto you because they have not known the Father nor me. And it reminds me of what they did to the prophets. It's nothing new under the sun. Those who God revealed himself to, they understood God's heart, what God was going to be doing and why. And, they warned people. And it wasn't just, warning, and it wasn't just, about judgment. They were his mouthpiece. And that hasn't always been, received well. It seems like it's going to be the same thing here. They will think that they're doing God's service. But that word offended, I feel like that is something that, is convicting, to be able to, to be like Jesus. He knew the truth, he spoke the truth, not taking it personally, all those times that he was able to escape from, people who were coming after him, and, all the times that, he was challenged, and he understood, how people felt about him, just, just not being received well. And I feel like when God reveals certain things, um, people, even people who are called, people who are, leaders in the church, um, they might have their own understanding and from their own walk with God, but God gives people in the body different gifts and different insight. So it might make sense that they don't know um, God in certain areas based on their own, what they're called to do. Like if someone is more discerning, or someone is a prophet, for instance, God may reveal something to those people in the body differently than, those who have other roles and positions. Not to say that we can't all have discernment, but God does speak to us differently. We do have, different callings. So I find that interesting. God is, there's so, like, we can't even think that we can begin to know him. So I find it interesting, and I'll kind of speak more into this, but I do find it interesting when, it seems like people reject um, the very things that, sometimes come to pass. Even in my own experience, when, God has shown me certain things and revealed certain things, or I've just had a knowing about something, and sometimes I'll share it, and it's like, it's not well received, and people are like, what? Like, there are times where I was like, no, this is what you're supposed to do. And it's like, we all have our own convictions, and then they'll come back and say, oh, you were right. And I'm like, it's a very like interesting thing, just just being real. Like, God might show you something, and just because someone doesn't see it, or they're not able to um I don't know, make sense of it, sometimes you'll be rejected, and that's just something that comes with it. I feel like I said, that um we're a body, and God gives us different gifts, um, and insight into certain things, and um, it's still, like I said, where it says that we're supposed to be, in one spirit, like God is, bigger than just our understanding. And that's why we're bodies. And then we see there are certain people, like even those who believed, um, who I believe it said that they didn't profess Jesus because, um, you know, they like their physicians, or they were afraid of, uh, being rejected or not, pleasing the Pharisees. And there can be so many different, things in us that keep us from being able to really um, be open to the truth. And I remember having a conversation with someone who said that he's like, the Bible is dangerous. He's like, if you really lived like how Jesus said, you'd be in trouble. But that's something that, you have to give to God, and God gives us revelation and um, comforts us, and helps us to walk through, whatever. It's just like Jesus said, like, you know, he says what he says, because that's what the Father has him say. The Father has revealed that. The Father has told him to say that. So he's being obedient to God. So in that same way, we have to be willing to, share whatever it is that God is telling us to share. And some things may be, you know, it seems like it may be acceptable, and in certain things it's like, and you just have to um, just remember who you are, just like Jesus is showing us here. And then it goes further. What stood out to me as well, it says, I have yet many things to say. Oh, no, first, it's saying that it's expedient for you that I go away, for if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you. And this is in response to the sorrow that they felt, that Jesus was saying that he was not going to be with them much longer. And then he's talking about the work of the Holy Spirit. And then it says, I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. To me, that is weighty for Jesus to say, the Spirit of truth, when he comes, he's going to be the one to reveal, to give you more revelation. Um, and then it's also saying that he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak. And then he says, he shall glorify me, for he shall receive of mine and shall show it unto you. And then it goes back to the Father too, like all things that the Father hath are mine, therefore said I that he shall take of mine and I shall show it unto you. And this is God's design. We have to be um, open to, God allowing the Holy Spirit to, speak to us and to show us things, to warn us, to guide us. And um, I don't know that, you know, I hear, beyond like the basic, teaching of the work of the Holy Spirit, like actually how to walk with God, how to hear from the Holy Spirit. I don't think that I hear that a lot in sermons, going deeper into, revelation and what, um, God can be teaching us. I don't think that I hear that um, a lot, like in sermons. And there are only a few who are speaking into the things that are happening in the world, and how it relates to the Bible as far as prophecies. I, and where we are in the end times, I don't hear that either. But it's saying that he will show you things to come, and I think that's important for us to, you know, understand. And when it's saying he will guide you into all truth, there are things that, God has warned us about. There are things that, just like, Jesus was speaking to the disciples, and it was like it was parables, and there were people who weren't able to understand it, how to, those who were close to Jesus, he was able to make it plain. And just because, like, especially in the book of Revelation, um, just because, we have that, God can give us more insight into what that means, and what, it will look like. Like, we can't just depend on our own understanding. Like, um, there are things that God reveals to us. And even in Proverbs, it talks about having eyes to see and ears to hear, and how that, is something that we can ask for. I believe it said it was a gift. It's just important, to not just assume, because, you know, I feel like people have this, they'll say, well, I have God, I have my faith in God, and that's enough. But the way that we see it here, God's design is God's design. If he's saying that he's going to reveal things to his prophets about what's to come, if God gives instructions at times, we can't just think that, we can just kind of move in our own way. Like, we have to be able to seek God about certain things, and to be able to take certain things, even if it seems, a little bit um, disturbing, or, it's something that is beyond our scope of reality in whatever sense. Just like with Daniel, um, just his reaction to seeing things. Even John, like, there are certain things that God can reveal, that it's like, oh my goodness, and if the enemy is, like an angel of light, there are going to be things that might seem good, or might seem like the outcome is good, rather, but the means to get there might not be, because, in the Bible it says that God blesses and he adds no sorrow to it. But certain times, we could seek after certain things, and it we feel like God's not in this. Like, this is not, this wasn't his will, and then he'll reveal certain things and be like, no, this is actually what I have for you. There are times where we can miss it. So I feel like, just humility, and, you know, um, seeking God and his understanding, going deeper with him, um, and understanding the importance of the work of the Holy Spirit. I feel like that is so important in these times, in order not to be deceived. And this is like something that I can go on and on about. It's like certain people, it's like if it's not specifically like the way it happens is not specifically how it's laid out in the Bible, that they will not, take heed. They will not, even go to God, and seek his wisdom, and pray, to be led into all truth. They won't even, they will just be surface. This is what it is. That's a hard thing when it seems like people don't want to acknowledge, like, the importance of the work of the Holy Spirit beyond what we see and hear. And, especially when it comes to our lives and policies, why wouldn't God speak to us? Just like, in dreams, he spoke to Joseph, and, he'd warned him of, even moving Jesus away because of what, the enemy was planning. Like, we cannot, like, diminish how important that is in our lives, to have, God reveal things to us, through the work of the Holy Spirit. I just wish that was valued more um, in the church, and what people discern and what people are prophesying. I wish that was you know valued more in the church, because even in the Bible it says, do not despise, um, prophecies, because that is how God spoke, even all throughout the Bible. That's how God spoke to his people. There are times that he used someone. He told someone to give a message, and being familiar with God in that way, to even just pray about it. We can ask God for discernment, ask God for understanding, and just in his mercy, like we can ask for confirmation, and for God to show us. We just have to believe what he is he's saying. I like the illustration in verse 21 where it says, a woman when she is in travail hath sorrow, because her hour is come, but as soon as she is delivered of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. And to me, like, as a mother, when I was pregnant with my son, like about 10 years ago, just that knowing, like, even before, and it took me a long time to show, because I'm tall and I'm also slender, skinny. But when I would reveal that I was pregnant, like, nobody believed me. I think it was about 6 months until I started showing. And I remember this one girl was like, is the baby okay? And I'm like, what? Like, how we could be carrying something, and um, we feel it, we understand, like, it's very real to us. Like, a woman can feel, like, the difference in her body when she's carrying, you might not see the fruit of the birth yet, but it's real, it's true. And then as he got bigger, like rolling around in there, it was, it was something that was so special, like, and there was an excitement, like, and a hope for me holding my baby and what that would mean. And that's the same thing here. Like, we have an awareness of God's presence, like he is with us. And just because people haven't seen the evidence of what we're saying yet, um, and we're walking through things, just like in pregnancy, where there is oh my gosh, there's so much discomfort, oh my gosh, from morning sickness to all of it. Like, it relates to us, walking in this world, just knowing how the world is, and just carrying that burden to, like, reach people, especially like our family members, friends who are not saved, all of it, just the sorrow of knowing what's to come, and people not realizing it, people not being open to the truth, but just imagining seeing God again, saying that our hearts will rejoice and no one can take that joy away from us. Just the hope of what um, Jesus promised, coming to life, just tangibly seeing it, just like when the awe and wonder of holding your child for the first time. I like how patient and gracious Jesus is in um, the last part of the chapter as well, because in 30 they're saying, now are we sure that thou knowest all things, and needest not that any man should ask thee. By this we believe that thou camest forth from God. And then Jesus answered them, do ye now believe? And he's saying that, behold, the hour cometh, yea, is now come, that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone. And yet I am not alone. Yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. Just like he did with Peter, when Peter's like, what did he say? That he would give his life for Jesus. And Jesus was like, you're going to deny me 3 times, and it seems like it's the same here. He's like, you guys aren't going to be faithful to remain with me. But he's saying, I'm not alone because the Father is with me. And, he's not going to hold it against them. And he continues to speak into them, saying, these things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. So he's still, seeing beyond, where they would fall short. He didn't do what he did with Judas. Like, go ahead and quickly do what you have to do. It wasn't a situation like that. And then later, how Jesus like reaffirmed, Peter and his calling. To me, it's just a reflection of, love covering a multitude of sins. It's something that, is a wonder to me. How even if someone's not being obedient and they're walking in a way where you're sensing like, God is like having you pray for that person or showing you something, you're like, oh my gosh, like what are they doing? And even in times in our own lives where we're like, oh my gosh, like what did I do? How God is bigger, and that doesn't mean that we don't have consequences from the times where we don't obey, or we're not really like submitted to God, um, and flowing and moving when he's, having us move. But that just really stood out to me, how it's like, yet I am not alone because the Father is with me. So again, even in people's lack of understanding, or in their failures, um, he's still understanding that they don't understand, and that's how Jesus is not being offended. So I feel like that goes back to the beginning of the chapter. And so that is what stood out to me. If you have anything that you would like to share, that spoke to you, you can leave below in the comments and I would love to read it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.